Hey, welcome to Cheap Old Cars and Audio. In this video, we're going to talk about Shelby America. Let's say, banning people from their social media pages? This is crazy. This is crazy, okay? So, a lot of people are upset. I think I'm blowing out the mic. I'm going to back up just a bit. A lot of people are upset that everything Shelby puts out seems to be a 5-liter with a supercharger, wide body kit, lowered wheels, right? There apparently used to be different options they could get. Here's the thing, if you're upset that that's what they're offering, what else can they do? I'm genuinely asking what else they can do. So these ECUs and these Fords were just recently hacked, unlocked, right? Up until that point, they could only add the supercharger and this tune that was predetermined, and it makes this much horsepower, and yeah, you can do a little bits of this stuff, a little exhaust, a little bit this and that, but you can't really do things with cars anymore. They can't change the interior too much because crash safety. The seats, the seats might be even part of that too. So the factory Recaros, can you still get the Recaros in the Mustangs? Honestly, I don't know. These cars are too expensive for me to even really look at anymore. But they can really only do so much. They can't change the suspension too much. I can. If I were to buy one of these cars, I can do whatever I want to it, especially in the state I live in. I could run around open headers, and maybe I'll get pulled over, but probably not. I've driven open headers with big blocks before, and you just kind of, take your foot off the gas when you go by the cop, and it was fine. So, they really can't do much. Now, I think they went a little too far with the recent GT350 that they launched. Now, it's not going to be flat plane crank and all the things like the Ford-made GT350 was. And I think that was a little bit underwhelming for some people because it wasn't special enough, I guess. Younger people that are complaining online have a big problem these days, in that they want something to be special, right? But they only consider it special if Ford or Chevy or whoever makes it that way. And so these cars that are tuned by Celine, Roush, RTR, Shelby, right? If there's others, I don't know. But these cars are not considered special to a lot of younger people these days because to them, it's a GT with parts on it that they could install themselves. They could buy these parts, and they're honestly correct for the most part. They could buy the parts and install the stuff themselves. So what makes the car special to them? It's, to me, I understand, like, hey, a car built at Shelby American, that's awesome. Have to be able to buy, honestly, I personally would go with an RTR. I like how they look. But if I were to buy one of those cars, the fact that it's modified in America, right, by American workers and done at Von Gittin Jr. shop and all that stuff, that is valuable to me. I'm an older person. The young people don't seem to value that at all. When I say young, 20s to 30s, whatever, I'm 40. They just, for whatever reason, they don't seem to value that. They will always see that car as a GT with the same mods that they could put onto it. At least that's what I see in the complaints online. I see the same complaints about my Bullets, my 201 Bullets. It's just a GT with an intake manifold. I'm like, well, it also has a different springs, had specific shocks and different sway bars, and different exhaust, and different seats, and different gauges. I mean, it was a full package, right? And so to me, that's a full package. But what most people say is, well, it only had 5 extra horsepower. But it's a full package. You drive a Bullet, you drive a GT, and then you jump in a Bullet and you drive the Bullet. You get it. You should get it because it's drastically different in terms of the driving characteristics. Drastically different. I mean that. There are people that have laughed at me when I've said that in the past. I've had both of these cars. It is drastically different, especially if you're pushing them a little bit. So the GT350 thing, there's going to be a lot of people that like the Ford GT350, but they'll never, ever, ever like the Shelby GT350 because it's not as special. It's a GT with a aftermarket stuff added to it. I don't understand, right? I guess, I mean, I'm kind of complaining here, but I don't understand what happened in the car culture to where these younger people don't like modified cars like that anymore. It might truly be because they're not special enough. Okay? Back in the 60s, Shelby could put a completely different engine in something if he wanted. Now, he was using Ford engines, but, maybe if the GT500 comes out with that 7.3 with a supercharger on it or something, that would be pretty crazy because it's not something Ford would offer, right? But can they do that? Can they do that and sell it as a new car? Honestly, I don't know if they can. All of the government rules and regulations, and I know that the EPA in the car world essentially lost their funding to follow through and enact any kind of punishment, so that's good. But what can they do? The 5-liter is an amazing engine. It's an amazing engine. You put some boost to it, and I think, honestly, I think people are too used to hearing 800, 900 horse, 1,000 horse. I think they're too used to hearing it. They're not used to experiencing it. It's a very small percentage of people that have actually had that and experienced it. Plenty of Hellcats out there. But it still is a relatively small group of people. And most people, as a daily driver, I mean, anything over 500 horse is just ridiculous. It's fun, sure, but it's ridiculous. I've had the most powerful vehicle I've owned was 395 horsepower. I had fun with it. It was an SUV, sure, but it was fun. So the quickest vehicle I owned was actually my Dark Shadow Gray Mach 1. It had full bolt-ons and cams and a few extra little things. Not boosted, but it was proper quick. It was I say proper quick. It was probably an upper 12-second car pretty easily. It could have been mid-low 12s with good tires. It was. That's quick though. That's the whole thing. You don't have to be an 8, 9, 10-second car to be fun. I think most average people, if you put them in a low 13-second car in the passenger seat, right, and ran them down a drag strip, they'd have a smile on their face because that's quick enough to be fun. You have some people that get used to faster things, and then they feel like they have to have bigger and better and everything. But honestly, these Mustangs with 700-800 horsepower running on 20s with little tires, you can't use that. It's pointless. I would rather, honestly, if the GT350 from Shelby was just a suspension and brake package and the stock 5-liter, that would be more enticing to me. That would probably be less enticing to everyone else because, it's not fast. It's not any faster than a GT. Well, adjustable shocks, different springs that are more geared towards performance driving, that's valuable to me. And the company focusing on that and being able to take time and money to build a package that works really well. Maybe they have specifically valve shocks. Maybe they have spring rates that are specific to them. They have these springs made for them, and no one else can get those springs. And then but that's valuable to me. I like that, and I also do then like that they sell those parts, and I can buy those and put them on my car because maybe I can't afford to go have my car done by them. Is there anything wrong with that? I'm struggling, guys. I don't understand why people don't value the Shelby thing. And I don't understand why people don't understand. It's a lot of negatives here. I don't understand why people are upset that it's just a 5-liter with a blower. Given all the laws and rules and regulations and EPA crap, that's about all they can do, right? I mean, the Dark Horse is 505 horsepower. You got to understand, guys. Now, it could be because I'm old, but I remember when the when the E36 M3 came out. Okay, we didn't get the good engine here, but in Europe it was 100, right at 100 horsepower per liter, right? And then the E46 M3 came out, and we got it here, and it was a 3-liter with 333 horsepower. It's 111 horsepower per liter. That was insane, right? That was crazy. Naturally aspirated over 100 horsepower per liter. That was awesome. And now you got a Ford Mustang making 100 horsepower per liter, and people aren't happy with it, and it's a 5-liter. What is wrong? What's not special about it? It's awesome. And to have something built by Shelby American with those, here in America, I think they're in Vegas, right? I think. But to have something built by those guys, even if it's not as crazy as a original GT350 was versus a Mustang, the back in what, 65, 60. When did those come out? 65 or 66? I can't remember. Anyway, the old Wimbledon white with blue stripes. Even if it's not as crazy or as drastically different as that, I mean, they can't go throw different cams in a 5-liter, like drastically different cams, and still meet all the emissions regulations. They just can't do it. So I guess what I'm saying here is, guys, you need to learn what's valuable. And it's not, what's valuable, I'm telling you, is not, that was an Amazon truck that went by. I've never seen an Amazon truck up here. We always get FedEx and UPS trucks up here, but never the Amazon truck. Anywho, what's valuable is not the horsepower and the quarter mile time. That's not it. What's valuable is the work that went into it to make it what it is. And so if you have something that has 300 horsepower, but it handles so stupid good and has good downforce and can get around a track quicker than cars that have more power, that's valuable. That time and engineering that went into this overall package, right? Not AutoZone shocks on the back and something you got from the junkyard on the front. Yeah, it's fine. It handles good enough. No, that's dumb. The overall package for these cars, engineered to the best of these companies' ability, built by American people in an American facility, that's what's valuable. And that's what people need to start valuing over this crazy horsepower race. It's just absolutely stupid. You're running on rubber band tires, right? With 900 horsepower. You're just going to spin. I don't know. The whole thing seems dumb to me. Now, the other side of it that's really dumb is Shelby blocking people for calling this stuff out. That's also really, really dumb on their part. That seems like an old guy who's running their social media stuff, and he's like, I don't like these kids griping about what we're doing. Let's just block them all. We can do it because it's our digital house. You want to make sure that you lose all your clientele when your old clientele dies off. Von Gittin Jr. is going to get everybody with his RTR stuff because they know how to brand it and package it. They're doing a better job. Okay? Guys, Shelby America, have one of your spokesmen come out and put out a message that says, hey, we understand it's a 5-liter with a supercharger. Given EPA laws or EPA regulations and whatever law it is, I don't know which one it would be, but given these regulations, we can only do certain things. It's not like it used to be where we can kind of go wild and crazy. But if you bring us your car, sign a waiver. That is only be for track use after that. We can go a little crazier with it. Only for track use. And then it's up to the owner at that point to, if they can't get it emissions legal in their state anymore, well, I guess it's not a registered road vehicle. It's now a track car. That's what would happen, though. That is what would happen if Shelby came out and worked with this better and said, yeah, we can do more, but it won't be street legal. You have to sign waivers, you have to sign paperwork that you won't even try to register the car for the street anymore. Then all you've got is a track car. So we don't want to do that either, because we want to see Shelbys on the street. I do think Shelby's handling it wrong. I think the people griping at them are handling it wrong too, because they want more and different. And honestly, I mean, the computers were locked down for most of this current generation until just recently. There's just not much these companies can do. So, I mean, what do? You go more styling, right? And I think the RTR, I think they just knocked it out of the park. The Celine's look really good too. I like the front end on those cars. In my opinion, the front end of the current Mustang is just way too big and out of proportion with the back half of the car. So I have kind of no interest in them. I like a car to be small at the front and get bigger at the back and have a little bit of a rake. Not a lot of rake. I'm not like a guy. Just here's level, just a little bit. Like my Mach 1, I can see it sitting out there right now, and it was a little nose high on its factory springs, just quarter inch or so. And I put the bullet springs in the front with no isolators. And yeah, it just got a touch of rake. The back is stock, and it's fine. It's fine on the Mach 1. And, they don't have to be super low. And then my Blue Bullet, you guys, if you've seen my channel, you've seen it. It's got H&R Super Sports on it. But I'm actually going to put some adjustable lower control arms on the rear, so I can lift that rear up maybe a quarter inch, maybe an eighth of an inch. It just needs a little bit, just a tiny little bit to look good. Anyway, that's my rant about Shelby. I don't know if that actually covered anything of value, but I'm telling you guys, this horsepower battle and the drag times is honestly really pointless. There's more to driving than that. But you need to start valuing the work that went into the package and the design of the car, because that's where the value is. Thanks for watching Cheap Old Cars and Audio. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you watch it. Whatever. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you next time.